I am pleased to invite Emily M. Schehlein, selected to deliver this year's senior class remarks to address the graduates of 2013. Ms. Schehlein.
Thank you, Dr. Snyder. Good afternoon, Father Linane, deans, administrators, faculty, staff, friends, family, distinguished guests, and of course, fellow members of the class of 2013. And thank you for allowing me to address you today. Over the course of the past few years, we, as Loyola students, have been encouraged to embody Jesuit ideals, such as Cura Personalis, Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, and the Magis. But what are these abstract ideals? Aside from sounding like incantations from Harry Potter, what do they mean? Cura Personalis, or care for the whole person, commands each of us to not only care for our bodies, but to also cultivate our spirit and our intellect. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam, for the greater glory of God, stands for the virtue of finding God in all things and a commitment to doing his work. That leaves the Magis, the more. Throughout high school, I excelled in my studies and graduated at the top of my class. I came to college and I failed my very first test. Thanks, Dr. Dahl. I've been in 7 musicals and have 6 years of voice lessons under my belt. When I auditioned for Loyola's fall musical, though, I was very quickly shown to the door. I was so focused on my failures that I distorted the meaning behind the Magis. I had heard so much about this amorphous virtue, and I felt as though I was once again failing. I certainly wasn't more. If anything, I was less. Education is not a process that we start and finish, but rather it is a state in which we strive for more. Although formal education is marked by achievements and recognition, it is not a goal to be reached or a task to be completed. I would have much rather studied nothing but science for 4 years. In fact, the very mention of the Corps conjured up images of a Marine Corps that I hadn't enlisted into. But the core curriculum at Loyola serves the Magis, impassioning us as students to strive beyond our majors and to treat education as more than a mere stepping stone to a paycheck. In the words of St. Ignatius, since our studies do not leave us much time for anything else, we must make up for this by our holy desires. The time we spend on our studies becomes a continuous prayer, for we have begun these with only a view to God's service. Although St. Ignatius would be thrilled with the core curriculum, it is but one piece of the puzzle. The core serves the Magis intellectually, but it is stepping outside of the classroom in service of others that serves the Magis spiritually. During my first semester, I worked mostly with adolescent children in a rehabilitation hospital. To these patients, I was not a student. My grades and my extracurriculars were inconsequential. I was more. I was a teacher, a caregiver, and a friend. As more than a mere aggregate of achievements, failures, grades, and class rank, I realized that although I am empowered by my education, I am not defined by it. Each of you has your own version of this journey, and that is what links us together here today. So what is the true meaning behind the more? It certainly isn't averageness or complacency. The Magis is a force. The Magis teaches us that it is not enough to just learn, serve, and worship, and then call it a day. Rather, we must journey from the brightly illuminated truths to which we cling and into the dark unknown to light the way for others. As we move into the next phase of our lives, we have an obligation to share the knowledge we have acquired at Loyola. Our studies in psychology, chemistry, history, and business have certainly prepared us for worldly success. But if we move forward with only the facts and figures we have learned in the classroom, then Loyola really didn't teach us anything at all. It is in giving that we receive. At Loyola, we have given our time, our service, and our effort, and in return have received the wisdom of the past, knowledge of the present, and hope for the future. But I implore you to think critically about and act willingly on the magis, this elusive yet fundamental concept of Ignatian spirituality. Go out and give more than time. Give spirit. Give more than service. Give compassion. Give more than effort. Give love. During our time at Loyola, we have been men and women for others. Our time spent in service, the hours spent slaving over research papers, seminars, and projects, and for many of our graduate student counterparts, balancing all of this with careers and families. This has ignited within us a spark, an energy with which we have advocated for ourselves, our peers, and our community. St. Ignatius has told us, and we have been reminded countless times, to go forth and set the world on fire. But let us not forget the purpose of that fire, to light the way for others. Let us now journey into the great unknown with the knowledge that we are men and women for others. And yet as we graduate, as we end our time at Loyola, we have the responsibility to also become men and women with others. And so now that we have been enriched with these strong truths, it is time for us to live them well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schehlein. You make each of us proud.